What was the weirdest World War II weapons? Number 1. The Panjandrum, also known as the Great Panjandrum, was a massive, rocket-propelled, explosive-laden cart designed by the British military. It was one of a number of highly experimental projects. The Panjandrum was never used in battle. Number 2. The Krumlov, English, curved barrel, is a bent barrel attachment for the Sturmgewehr 44 rifle developed by Germany in World War II. The curved barrel included a periscope sighting device for shooting around corners from a safe position. Number 3. The Maus. The Maus, designed by Ferdinand Porsche, was the ultimate expression of Hitler's desire to produce an indestructible super-heavy tank. It was first proposed in 1942, but few in the German high command saw the need for this 200-ton monster and mechanical problems associated with the drivetrain. The tracks were driven by electric motors powered by a huge Daimler-Benz aircraft engine, but top speed was barely 12 miles per hour. The Maus had armor up to 240 mm thick and a 12.8 cm gun. Although there were plans to build 150 tanks, only 2 prototypes, 2 hulls and 1 turret, were ever completed. Number 4. The Covenanter, Britain's worst tank. At the outbreak of the Second World War, the British Army had 3 types of tank: light tanks for reconnaissance, heavily armored infantry tanks to support frontal attacks, and fast cruiser tanks to exploit the gaps made in the enemy defenses. One of the latter was the A-13 Mk3 Covenanter. It was designed in 1939, and looked good on the drawing board with its large wheels, low profile and rakishly sloped armor. Large numbers were ordered as Britain frantically rearmed, but its 2 PDR gun and 30 mm armor were already outclassed when it was delivered in 1941, and worse defects lurked under the bonnet. The Covenanter suffered from major engine cooling problems which were never overcome. It was so unreliable that it never went to war, and the 1,771 tanks produced were used only for training. Number 5. The Tog, a First World War tank revived. In 1939, the Ministry of Supply set up a committee of the principal tank designers from the First World War, with the object of looking into current British tank development. The Old Gang, as they were known, came up with their own concept for a heavy tank, known as Tog 1. It was a long, heavily armored machine, able to cross trenches and terrain cratered by shells. Its armament was mounted in sponsons on either side of the hull. It was in effect a machine designed to refight the First World War, and showed just how remote the committee was from modern developments. Its transmission and steering system were also needlessly complex. A second prototype, Tog 2, featured a revolving turret and other improvements, but the tank was still too cumbersome and too complicated to be adopted by the War Office.